Hey guys, welcome to Kipoerneke's Corner. I am once again over in EverQuest Legends, and I'm not sure exactly what I was doing last time I was in. I feel like I had done some fishing, and maybe I was going to head over and make some things out of the fish. I didn't get a lot of fish. I'm seeing 5 fresh fish. We've got some rice, various other things in here, and I'm wondering if I should go and dump a bunch of this into maybe, well, okay, I was thinking I'm in an entirely different place than I thought I was. I was thinking that I was in Great Faydark. Turns out I'm in Lesser Faydark. Now, where would I have been going? Possibly the Steamfont Mountains in that case. Let's go check it out. And I'll find some things along the way. Maybe I'll get some stuff we want to cook with or something like that. Do a little bit of crafting here and there. Who knows? Let's find out. All right. We're not too far from the Steamfont Mountains entrance. It really didn't look like it was heading that way. It looked like it was much too far south, but certainly I wasn't going to the castle Mistmore. I only know Castle Mistmore from EverQuest 2. And in EverQuest 2, I want to say Castle Mistmore was like a 70s zone, I think. So I don't have any idea what level it is here. Maybe it's lower, maybe it's higher. I find that the levels are vastly different for the zones in EverQuest Legends than they are in EverQuest 2. So hard for me to say very well on that. Let's see here. Mostly a lot of the layout, I would say, is similar. I didn't really know how similar it would be from this game to the next, or from this game not really to the next, from EverQuest 2 to here. Because again, having never played EverQuest 1, I wasn't sure. I knew that things were different between the two games. I didn't know how different they would be. And they're different in many, many ways. The layout is definitely one. But there's a lot of general statements that can be made about locations. So there are enough similarities to be able to sort of bumble my way through some things, but just not necessarily as straightforward of a thing as one might expect if one wasn't aware of basically the shattering. Okay, we've got some rogue clockwork over here, and I feel like rogue clockwork might be one of the things that has faction. I don't think that the gnomish skeletons do. I feel like I killed some brownies without it having any faction results. Let's check on a kobold here. I've been here before, but only once, and I don't recall the details. The kobold does not seem to have given me any faction whatsoever one way or another, which is kind of interesting and a little unexpected for me. Let's try this rogue clockwork and see what we get from that. I see what appears to be a wolf over there. It might be a coyote, hard to say. Rogue clockwork does not seem to have given me anything either. So, no to kobolds, no to rogue clockwork. Let's check on coyotes. Coyotes. Also, I haven't done anything with my adventuring stuff as far as checking to see what new spells I might have after hitting level 9. I did check to see skills, and I didn't have anything new. But I very well may have something new in the way of spells. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, my spell book. I definitely have plenty of things that I could be using from there. Okay, this calms the aggressive nature of many creatures. So this is an out of combat thing. Pretty much just slip by, I think. We already have the Hymn of Restoration. That's not new. So actually, Keelan's Lugubrious Lament, what was it? They call it the lull. I think people call it lull, right? So the lull is not exactly new either. It's level 8, but I still haven't put it on a bar yet. Elemental Rhythms is new. It is a song, percussion instruments, a mystic tune that offers your group protection from fire, ice, and magic. Now that would definitely be useful. I don't have room on my what's it called, symphonic aura for that. But let's see here. What if we go to it? I think we press V, maybe? Yes, V. And maybe class. Yes. Okay, we have 4 out of 10 of those, meaning that I think only 2 of these songs are actually going off in that case. So it would be Chords of Distance and Chant Battle. I have 3, no, 5 unallocated AA points. So I can get another bar open because it costs 3 to do that. So let's go ahead and train that. So you train it the first time to purchase it, and then the second time it turns it on. So you train it twice to get this. The second training doesn't cost any of each of these, and it's just to turn it on. So you can turn this on and off. So now we should have all 3 of these things going. This encourages your group's wounds to heal faster. So I have this as well, but I don't have it being cast at the moment. The only things that cast with the symphonic aura must have no mana cost, have no cooldown, and be a non-targeted area of effect song. So all 3 of these things that I currently have are going, but also I have this, which is not going. So this is the 4th one, and I don't have enough AA to have 4 running. The other thing here, this Keelan's Lugubrious Lament, that's the lull I mentioned earlier. And that is not one that I would want on auto. The Elemental Rhythms is one that I would want to keep going because it offers protection from fire, ice, and magic. Now, I see that I have been hailed by someone. Akin says, "Hail, Kipoerneke." I shall reply. I will say, "Tell Akin, hail to you as well." There we are. How about that? Now we're getting better at stringed instruments as we go along from playing these things as well. Just sort of walking along, improving my stringed instrument playing. I think it's possible that I might be able to run around Ak'Anon now due to going and getting various faction improvements when I was in Freeport with the wine and the muffins. So possibly I can walk around here and not be attacked. Then again, I might be attacked. I'm not sure. It's one way to find out. So this says to Ak'Anon. We're going to try to go there and see what happens. First, let's run by Watchman Grep and see if he attacks. Looks like he did attack me. He's not happy with me running by him. It's all right. We're going to keep running. Then head over to Ak'Anon. Now, the fact that he did attack me makes me want to dodge Watchman Dreeb, because I'm not feeling real confident in my ability to not be attacked by him as well. We're going to try to hit this zone line over here without getting killed. There are a lot of guys. A couple of them are on me. We're going to keep running for it and come around behind them. Ha, they got me. It didn't not work at all. Now, maybe if I hadn't had the first 2 watchmen on me whenever I ran for that, I might have made it. It doesn't matter because I feel like inside I would definitely have been killed. So what I'm seeing from this is whatever faction I do have, I don't have faction clues, guys. How do I get faction with them? I haven't a clue. I don't even know what kind of things they are. Were they gnomes? Perhaps they were gnomes. I'm not sure. You know, it just occurs to me that I could have found out if I was going to be attacked by them by looking to see if they had swords over their head. Somebody told me about that trick at one point, and then I forgot about it. So if there are cross swords over their head, it looks like an X. And if that happens, then they're definitely going to attack you. This is a female rat. Now, what I found before about the female rats is that they're the only kinds of rats that are identified. Male rats, they're the ones without a tag saying that they are female. They are just simply called rats unless they're female rats. And if they're female rats, in the past what's happened is I've been attacked by regular rats, which I assume are male, as soon as I attack the female rat. So let's see if that holds true again. We're going to attack this female rat and see what happens. Do I get attacked by random male rats? Or was that a one-time deal? I do not appear to have been attacked by male rats as a result. So maybe that was just coincidence in the past. Alright, let's try this rogue clockwork queen out over here. Getting a little bit better at stringed instruments, for what that's worth. I did not see any change in any faction. We do have this micro server here, no idea what to do with that. Let's loot it. A Crag warrior, that looks like an aviac to me, and he does not appreciate me being in his area at all. Not loving it. Okay, so he's yellow, which means that he is a little higher level than we are. In fact, he's a level 10, I'm a level 9. Not really very far off, but a little bit higher. Got the mountain lion hanging out over here. I've got a brittle skeleton. Can't imagine what I might need from a brittle skeleton. Looks like he's aggro though, so I guess we'll kill him. Other than like bone shards, bone chips. Bone chips is what they're called, I think. But I feel like I have plenty of room in my bags right now, so I'm not too worried about piling up on some stuff. Plus, I want to get some things just so that I can craft with them. Not sure what all I'll need. I do need to go find a place called Runny Eye, because in Runny Eye, well, not in Runny Eye, but near Runny Eye, there are muddites, and muddites drop clay, and clay is used for pottery. So these are the things that I've learned. There's a large plague rat, nice. A young chaos drake. Ah, been attacked by yet another brittle skeleton. Okay, well, I'll let that fight go on, and then what do you suppose this up in the upper right is? Probably a network of caves, right? So, there's also some gears, or maybe it's a windmill in, oh, there's a coyote. We'll get him Cody. We'll go up toward that windmill shape, because it might be something that they had in EverQuest 2 in Steamfont. It's a little area, and I'm actually struggling to remember the name of it. But it was a place with some gnomes in it, and I cannot think of the name of it right now. But I'm wondering if it's the same place up there on the map. It looks kind of similar, and it's in a somewhat similar location as the one that I'm thinking of. Whatever it was. Who knows? Switch over to this Crag warrior. So we've got a warrior, and they're both warriors, never mind. A couple of warriors that we're fighting at the moment. So we have an aviac talon there. I'm not sure what good that is. Let's go with store on it. In fact, I'm going to right click and we're going to do auto store on that. I've run off my other guy. Wherever did he go? I wonder. It is a Coyote, where is my coyote friend? I wasn't paying attention to the fight. And now I've lost him. What a shame. Well, you know, he'll probably show back up, right? Alright, well, I'll just keep going. Imagine he'll come back. Let's go this way. Mikey Barra 6884 says, "Hey Kippo, just a tip. I honestly wouldn't bother with trade skills until way later on. Your best bet is to head to the Crush Bone of the Fallen and focus on killing and leveling up ASAP. Just about any of the weapons from the Fallen, especially, will be much, much better than anything you'll be able to craft." I'm sure that's probably true. I just kind of enjoy it, you know? And I like to take it slow, so not too worried about it, but definitely thank you for the tip. I am just kind of exploring the game and figuring out what the heck is going on, you know? So which server do you play on, Mike? No idea where that coyote went. He is just gone. He was out of there. Alright, onward toward the mysterious area by way of this Crag warrior. Micah says, "For sure, that's the best part about Legends, playing your own way." Absolutely. Just EverQuest in general, I find, is like that. EverQuest 2 is the one that I have always played. And that was one of the things that I loved about it, was that you can really just kind of do whatever interests you, and you don't get stuck in any particular mode of play. And that's why I like to play on the Origins server, because it's more like it was back in the day when you could really just do, you know, if you wanted to craft, you could craft. If you wanted to adventure, you could adventure. If you wanted to collect things, you know, or do just house decorating, or just do role playing, whatever you wanted, it's all available. And I really definitely appreciate that. I've found the coyote. He's just sort of running wild out here. And Mike says he's on Keynotes. Nice. This one is on Nearyak. Oh, there's a kin. Cool, cool. Hello. I'll wave. Oh, wait, I think you can actually slash wave. Cool. Ah. Tell Ken, how goes it? I have almost made it to my destination over here. Got a diseased rat here. A giant diseased rat. Nice. And that one has the two swords above its head. See that X? That's two swords, and it means that if I get near it, it's going to attack me. Okay, now, what do we have there? That is, in fact, a gear. It is not a tower or a windmill. It's a gear. And that, okay, these appear to have crashed and come down from the sky and crashed into the ground. That's my conclusion. Got some very tall trees. What's this business over here? And is this going to attack? It's not. Is this another gear? It is another gear. All right. All right. It's just a big, huge gear laying on the ground. And then a car shed is over here. We've got I don't know what's happening. Is this a cart? It might be. I think that's a cart. We've got a couple of pillars with gears on them. And we've got this this shed right here. Wait, is this is okay, this is the awning entryway to those aforementioned caves. Now, what's going to be here? Who knows? Mike says, off to lunch. Good luck. Good luck to you too, man. Hope you have a good lunch. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That guy. We got a minotaur slaver. That sounds fun. Okay. Now, I think that I heard that that the minotaurs are how you get better faction with the gnomes. So we'll see if that's true or not. Is this the only place the minotaurs are, or were they, or are they? My words, I can't speak them. Are they also somewhere else? I don't know. Akin says, first time playing in 25 years, so pretty good. Nice. I never played EQ1. So, EQL is a learning experience. I almost put a learning experience, but that's another place. Learning experience. There we are. Let's see what else we've got in here. Probably some nasty, nasty critters that are going to kill me. Seems likely. It's alright then. I'm cool with it. That's interesting. Is it a glass container filled with water and the water is boiling from, maybe bubbles are coming up from the, obviously there are steam vents in this area, so is that what's going on here? Is it filled with water? And I don't know, I'm not sure, or maybe it's just super hot. Another possibility there. Let's check out these caves. This network, my goodness. It's a whole thing in here, isn't it? Okay, this is a minotaur warrior that we're fighting. He's a slaver. Now, typically, a slaver has slaves hanging around. So, we may assume that somewhere in here we're going to run across some slaves. Maybe. Akin says, yeah, I was often like, wait, that's what the controls are again? And didn't definitely target myself. It did indeed. I suppose I should be clicking buttons here probably. Alright, let's back up a bit. Target this guy and start beating on him. Because what's happened is I allowed the first minotaur slaver that I was fighting to wander off. And I believe he went and found some friends probably. Entirely my fault because I wasn't paying attention. I was typing instead of noting that the guy was apparently intimidated and on the run. I'm going to actually remember to click disarm and intimidate. I don't know exactly what advantage that has, except if you want to gather more people up, I suppose you can send them off running, and they will assist in that regard. What's this over here, though? Okay, it's just another little area. Oh, here's this. Oh no, haha. We are in trouble. I think our good friend the Minotaur has found his buddies, and I am out of here because that is a whole crew coming after me. I think, oh no, they've stunned me. It's not looking good. Gotta, yeah, good little lot of them coming after me. If they stun me again, it's gonna be a bad day. I'm really not going faster than they are. Let's click Q, get out of combat if I can, and just keep running. Where can I go? Ew, I'm a long way from Kansas. It's alright. Maybe we can just outrun them all. The diseased rat has joined the fray. Let's see if we can train them all the way across the world, this entire zone. I mean, I might. Oh, there's just so many. No, there's no chance. I was initially thinking, well, maybe I could turn and fight, but no, I think that he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Maybe. In this case, I'm not 100% sure that that's true. We're gonna give it a go. Ah, now look at that. Some of the guys have dropped off. So, certainly they did not follow me across the entirety of the zone. I had heard that they don't drop off until a zone line, but what I see in practice, and I've seen this before, is that they do kind of drop off. Question is, could I take them now? I'm at 565 out of 599. There's 3 of them that are yellow, 1 white, and 1 blue. I think they're probably all warriors. What if I ran close to the zone line and fought whatever's left when I get there? And that way I can step across if things get questionable. Or I could die at the zone line as I have before, because I'm not good at knowing when to run away. But I think this is a solid plan anyway. Almost there. I also am not great at determining exactly where the zone line is, so it's another thing that I'm just gonna have to learn with time. All right, let's try it. Give it the old college try here. Starting with the one that is white, thinking maybe I can kill that guy a little quicker. I think that all of these things are, yeah, they're all warriors, so I guess I should have gone with the blue guy, honestly. The rat, but that's okay. Do the rat next. It's not looking particularly promising here, but let's try disarming something, and maybe we'll go through and try to disarm a little at a time. Try to disarm this guy. And back over here. What is this? It's rat whiskers? Store it. No idea what it's good for. I wonder, can I kill this minotaur slaver, or is he gonna get me? I'm not sure. 121 isn't looking great. I should probably run. Feeling like I might have a chance though, so ha. That's how I get killed. Yep. Oh well. There we are. And now it spawned me over here. Alright. So I know what I did wrong there, which was that I allowed my guy to wander off and go get his buddies. And he did do that. He found plenty of friends along the way. It's interesting, the things in this game that are kill on sight and the things that don't really mind you wandering around. Like the coyotes, they're fine with it. Like, oh, okay, it's a big ogre, you know, running nearby, no problem. But then it's like some of the skeletons want to kill you as soon as they see you, and then other ones are like, you know, they're pretty okay, not really a problem. I'm not really sure, beyond just clicking on them and seeing if they hate you or not, how to tell which things are going to come at you and which things aren't. Earth elemental. I feel like I should probably kill some earth elementals. I don't know if we get any faction from that or not. Unfamiliar ex-husband says he's advertising. That's an interesting name. Shadow Fireborn says Newt. Interesting. Newt. There was once upon a time a TV show called Mork Mindy. Don't know if you've ever seen or heard of it. It was actually one of the early Robin Williams things, and his character on there was supposed to be an alien, and he would say "nanu nanu" all the time. This is what Newt reminds me of. What is this we have here? Steamfont spring water. Well, that seems good. Let us right-click and auto-store. Auto-store or auto-loot? Maybe I auto-loot the water. I don't know. We'll do auto-store for now. Maybe I change that later on. Then we have rat whiskers. I think auto-storing that is also fine. Alright. Slowly but surely going through these blue things. So the first elemental was not interested in attacking me, but once I started attacking one of them, the next one that came along nearby attacked me. And what that means to me is that they are a social creature. When they saw that I was attacking one of their brethren, they came at me. Now, what's this? It's Featherthag Wackentraub, and he seems to be being killed. Had I only gotten there in time, I would have tried to save him. But, shamefully, I did not. I didn't understand what was happening in time. I could have saved and known. If I had, would that have given me extra? Like, would I have gotten a quest? Or would I have gotten some good faction for doing the good deed? I'm not sure. Seems like that would make some sense, doesn't it? Don't know. One way or another, we've got this minotaur slaver down. It's good. Now he's trying to run away from me. You don't let any of that happen. What I see is that we do get some faction with various things. When we kill him, faction standing with Meldrath went down. I know the name Meldrath from EverQuest 2. But I don't know what's going on with Meldrath here. So I guess we'll find out. Faction with Gem Choppers has been adjusted by 5, so that went up, and faction standing with King Ak'Anon went up by 5. Gem Choppers, that seems like it seems like some people who are doing a little mining, doesn't it? I feel like. Got a little bit of health back. Let's go on in and see if we can take out this Minotaur slaver here. Shadow Fireborn says, sorry, Firefox derped out on me. Back. I'm sorry to hear that. You were just complaining about not knowing how to tell if things want to attack you or not. I can explain how. Yeah, the only way that I know is like if they have the swords on their head, or you can consider them. And there's like a couple of them that will attack you. So if you target the thing, you press C, then it'll tell you like threatening or dubious or something like that. And one of them means that it'll attack you, but actually I think there are 2 of them that will attack you. But like, okay, so in EverQuest 2, if something's going to be aggro to you, then there's like a red, like a highlight around its name. And so you can tell from a distance if something is going to come after you or not. Without, you don't necessarily have to target it because you can see the name from a good distance. But in this game, that is not the case. You have to either target it or be aware of the swords over its head, or have considered it. Shadow says, yeah, swords over the head will attack you. Also scowling and threatening when you con them will attack, right? But threatening has a slightly smaller radius. Oh, cool, okay. So threatening is not as angry as scowling. It's a little bit closer to threatening than you can to scowling. That's good to know for sure. Right, but what I'm saying is like, okay, so it's not like a certain kind of creature will always attack you, right? So, like I said, in Ogre, for instance, in the Fury, if you're wandering around, there are a lot of skeletons, but the skeletons don't attack you. But like here, they will attack you. There's not a lot of difference between the skeletons. It's not like they say an aggressive skeleton. That would make more sense. But no, it's just like, this is a skeleton, and you wouldn't know from its name that it's going to attack you. But yeah, you'd have to go through the whole process of either clicking on it and looking at the swords, or doing the considering thing. That's cool about, you said threatening doesn't have as big of a radius. That is definitely good to know. So you might can sit by something that's threatening, but not something that's scowling. Oh heavens, that's bad. We're in this situation again. I'm not gonna survive this. And there's no way. I'm out. Above the chemist says, good afternoon, Kipoerneke. Crafting some minnow beats downs this afternoon, I see. Well, they're beating me down at least. Somebody's beating somebody. Be safe in those games. That is not what I'm doing. I think there's a quest to turn in for their horns for faction if any drop. That's awesome. The Shadow says RIP. Yeah, that was definitely a bad go of it right there. Okay, so quest to turn in for their horns for faction. Would that turn in be? Do you have any idea where it would be? Is it in like Ak'Anon? Because I can't get in there right now. They hate me too badly. But if it's in Freeport, I have pretty free reign of Freeport now, or Kaladim or Kaladim. I can go to any of those places and not be dead. To be somewhat careful, because there are certain scout guilds that still pretty much hate me in Kaladim and also in Kelathin. Nope, not Kelathin, the other place, Felwithe. So I can go in most of Felwithe, but there's one dude in Felwithe at least who just, wants me dead. And there's a whole guild of them in Kaladim who want me dead. I can just kind of run away from the one in Felwithe and make it to the zone line without any problem. Could probably kill them, but I don't want to make my faction worse. Stuff over in this area doesn't really seem to have any faction. I didn't notice any faction with the Aviac when I killed it earlier, but I think I'm going to try again because maybe I just didn't see it, and I would like to know if I'm getting bad faction with anybody from doing that. Shadow says, Kelathin's scouts of Tuner Guild, Kunark Guild, will still kill you unless you've done work to make them happy. You're an ogre. Yeah, everybody hates ogres. I've noticed that. Like, everywhere I go, the only place that doesn't hate ogres just right out the gate is, in my experience so far at least, is Ogre. Yeah, and just kill on sight across the board otherwise. So I think I may have befriended everybody in Kelathin. I haven't been attacked in Kelathin. I've been all kinds of places. Well, you know what? You might be right. The scouts may still hate me. That's just one building and you have to actually intentionally go in there. I did walk in there one day and got swarmed, so it's possible. I think this just, let's say, like, scouts everywhere hate me so far. I don't think that I've made friends with them. And the scouts in Kaladim, I think that's one of the miners' guilds, and I've been kind of working my way in through that, but I still have a ways to go, I would say. I can't remember, maybe it's the bandits that you can kill in Butcher Block Mountains that get your faction up with those scouts, or that might be the paladin faction, I don't remember. Either the paladins or the scouts are raised by killing the bandits, and then, man, I'm trying to remember how to raise the other one, but I was doing a little bit toward both of those one day. I just cannot remember which one is which. Shadow says, you did pick one of the classic evil races. Hilariously enough, I didn't actually realize that Ogre was going to be a big deal because, again, I haven't played EverQuest 1. I played EverQuest 2. And in EverQuest 2, the way it is like there's a good side and there's an evil side. And dependent upon which one you pick, you're either going to be acceptable by Freeport and its ilk or Kinos and its ilk, right? And so, regardless of which one you pick, you're going to be hated by one side and loved by the other. In this, it seems that if you pick Ogre, everybody hates you. There's nobody who loves you. There's no safe place for ogres around here. They're just absolutely bottom of the barrel as far as that's concerned. So it's really interesting to me. Um, Above the chemist says, looks like the minnow horn turn-in is in Ak'Anon. Oh man, yeah, I can't get in there. I tried earlier. Hopefully they stack, so you can save them for later when Ak'Anon is more friendly. Right. I'm hoping that killing the minotaurs enough will get my Ak'Anon status or faction up. And then eventually I can slip in there past the guards. Maybe. I could just make a run for it, and I could make it if I was careful. I was not careful the first time. Shadow says ogres, trolls, and dark elves are the classic evil races. Iksar is kind of on its own side. You should be tolerated by the trolls and dark elves. Okay, I haven't been to Neriak. You said, have you been to Neriak? I've not been to Neriak. I've only been to certain places. So, started out in Ogre, and I went, let's see. I've been to Guk. They hate me in Guk. I went all over, of course, the Fear, which is what it is. It's mostly got Ogakians there, and so it's not really an issue. I went to, where else did I go? I went all the way to Befallen on that side. I went through Freeport. Freeport hated me so much. So much hate. It was not easy to get through Freeport as someone who is hated. But you can do it. I also have been told afterward that there's a way to sneak into Freeport and go through some sewers, which is the same way that it is in EverQuest 2, and I don't know why I didn't think to like go check and see if there were sewers. I just assumed that it would be different, but apparently there is a way to do that, so that's good to know. Shadow says Guk hates everyone. Cool. Alright. So Freeport hated me, Guk hated me, Butcherblock hated me, Kaladim hated me, Kelethin hated me, Felwithe hated me. Those all hated. Guk hated me. So those are pretty much the places that I've been so far. Well, and Ak'Anon. Ak'Anon also hates me. Steamfont in general hates me so far. No love from anybody over here. But I've been trying to work myself into their good graces, taking out this whole Faydark area as much as possible. Shadow says, City of Guk is actually not a player-raised city. The Guktans, that's interesting because aren't the Frogloks from Guk? And you can be a Froglok in EverQuest Legends. You could also be a Froglok in EverQuest 2. Now, my understanding was that the Frogloks were not available as a player race in EverQuest 1. That's what I've heard. As well as, I think the Karens were not a playable race also, maybe, in EverQuest 1. Shadow says City of Guk is a dungeon zone. Interesting. Now, what I've heard is that if you go through Upper Guk and you make it to Lower Guk, that you can kill the guys in Lower Guk and increase your faction with Upper Guk, and then be able to run around in there and do Gukton things, which is cool. I haven't done that yet, but it's good to know. We're going to auto-store this, I think, see what happens. Maybe it won't fill up my storage, maybe it will, who knows. If it does, it does. What do we have over here? Ah, yes. Watchman Miles. Oh, he's so far away and he saw me. Oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't even see his buddy, Forper Fizvia. Did not even notice him. Oh, I'm running the wrong way. Everything is wrong. Dead. Alright. Shadow says Frogloks were a playable race in EQ1 and later expansions, but the lore of it is that they're a different faction of Frogloks than the ones in the City of Guk. Okay, interesting. I am interested in finding out the lore of this game. I don't know, I assume that it would align with the old lore that's mentioned in EverQuest 2, but who knows, you know? Who knows if that's going to be the same or not. If so, then I would know a few things from there, you know, from what I know from it. And some of what I know from EverQuest 2 has definitely come into play here. but I mean, it's definitely a different game. There's no doubt about that. Shadow says they called themselves Gucktons. Yes. Yes. And see, in EverQuest 2, you can go to Guck. But Guck is very, very different in EverQuest 2 than it is here. I mean, everything about it is different. And for one thing, it's a much higher level zone, but it's just a completely different place. And it's, oh man, I can't even remember right now where it is. It's been so long. It's off of the Moors of Akesha in EverQuest 2. But it's like kind of a platformy village. And there is lower and upper, but it's like one is a dungeon and one is a player, well, not a player village, but a Frogloks village over there. I'll have to log in sometime on a server that has that and show you guys the difference. But it's very different than it is here. I can say that without any doubt. It's interesting how different it is. It's a lot of crafting that you end up doing over there if you go into the crafting side of things. Shadow says the Karens thing is weird though. They were called Vashir in EQ1, indeed. And they're basically moon Karens, right? In the lore of EQ, the Eridats blasted a big chunk of Norath into the sky, right? That's the whole. The Karens lived on the land that got blasted and they survived the trip, and the Vashir are their descendants. Right, yes. And that is something that you learn about in the lore of EQ2 as well. And I think that kind of lines up. I haven't really seen how to find the lore in this game. Like, you can go and talk to people. Most of them won't talk to me because I'm an ogre. But, okay, my experience being actually able to talk to people has mostly been in Oguk. And I really haven't learned anything from my experiences talking to the Ogakians, which is what I'm choosing to call them. I have no idea what they call themselves. But regardless, they've been a little tight-lipped about things. All I've learned is a little bit about factions all hate each other. It's like everybody hates ogres, even ogres hate ogres, right? That's what I've learned. Shadow says the devs of EQL have said that the lore of it is going to be slightly different. Interesting. In EQL, they missed just enough that some of the Karens survived here. So in EverQuest 2, there's a place called Kara Isle, and that came out with Stoneburnt Highlands and Sundered Frontier. I can't think of the name of that. Sentinel's Fate possibly was the name of that expansion. And that's when they introduced Kara Isle. And I wonder if EQL then is going to be using the same idea as that. What is this? By Roly Bingle. He hangs out over there too. Ooh. Shadow says I never played EQ2. Sorry, no, I completely understand. I never played EQ1, so we're on opposite sides of the same spectrum there. It's very interesting to see the differences between these two, and then to realize that EverQuest 1 isn't exactly the same as EverQuest Legends. My understanding is that things have been changed for EverQuest Legends from EverQuest 1, but that they're using the same base code. So primarily what we're seeing and what we're experiencing here in EverQuest Legends is going to be very similar to EQ1, except there's been a lot of quality of life things added, but also I understand that certain zones have been revamped. I don't think that they've been redone as far as like the layouts and things like that necessarily. I'm not sure exactly what has happened. So you see these here, like these little steam vents. In EverQuest 2, you go to Steamfont, you'll also see steam vents. But so I don't know. This is interesting that they have these here. It makes sense, right? Steamfont has got steam vents, and then in the water in EverQuest 2, water areas, it has like little geysers shooting up due to steam vents. I don't know if that's the case here or not. It's definitely interesting to wander about and just kind of see the way that things are, though. I'm heading at this time out to Lesser Faydark, I think. I think we'll go back toward Kelethin and try to get some of the crafting done. You know, it was advised to me not to bother with the crafting yet, but it's something that I am interested in doing. So it's something that I will do. Shadow says, we're waiting to see how Kunark lore is going to differ. Now, I understand, too, that they're planning to go in a different direction with this game than they did in EverQuest 1. This is what I've heard, is that the expansions and whatnot are not going to be the same. It's just very interesting. Shadow says we already have the Iksar, and the Iksar home city is the Iksar Expeditionary Force in North Road. We don't know what that means for the Kunark expansion, which is where we originally got the Iksar race and where their original home city was. Huh, okay, Kunark. Rise of Kunark was in EverQuest 2. That was the expansion. But yeah, I don't know. Don't know how that's going to all tie in together. Like, how much of the lore will they be using from EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, and then how much is going to be completely new and unique to this game? You know, that's an interesting question. We're not auto, we already did auto merge, so I'm just going to remove this in here. But yes, it's intriguing, you know, overall. I'm learning things every time that I play, and you guys have been very helpful at letting me know some things as well, so it's pretty cool. I definitely do need to hop into EverQuest 2 sometime soon too. I think that it's interesting to play both of them, and especially doing the older stuff in EverQuest 2 from the early days of that game, which is what's going on Origins, because there's so much lore to be had there, and there's so many interesting stories that are told, and just the little jokes that were put in and things like that at the time that you don't really see these days in most games. But you can go back and play on the Origins server and have more experience with that sort of thing. Read the quests and you read the books, and there's just so much there. It's like you're playing a book, you know? It's pretty cool. And then in this game, like I said, thus far, haven't really had that experience. It's interesting because the gameplay of this makes me think of like console games, like when you were playing adventure games on the console more than when you were playing RPG games on the console, to a large degree. Although there's some relation to this game on the original Nintendo. It was called Hide Glide, and I think it was like, I want to say it was like HYDLYDE, and I could be completely wrong on the spelling, but it was something like that. And there's some similarities I feel between the basic game design here in EverQuest Legends, and I assume EverQuest 1 and that game on Nintendo. Not sure. Anybody who knows that game, feel free to weigh in on that comparison. but I feel like there are some similarities, and that's just in the gameplay itself. Um, it's interesting. Now let's see here. I've got uh, I've got various foods at this point. We might could go and do something with that. I wonder where my money's sitting. I've got 19 gold. That's not a great deal, but it might be enough to get some done. Now, what do I need? I need a baker. Actually, maybe I should go back to Butcherblock Mountains because I feel like there's a baker outside of Kaladim, somewhere outside of there. Cannot remember. Um, Shadow says, "Oh God, virtual hide was awful. How can you compare it? Virtual hide? What is that? This was not. I don't know virtual hide. Um, hide was on the original NES. What is virtual hide? Is it was it made later on, or what? I know nothing." Shadow says, "Thought we were talking about the same game." I don't know virtual hide, so I'm not sure. Um, this was back in, oh man, I don't know, 1990, maybe 1990 or so, but maybe even probably before that, honestly, probably late 80s. It was right at the same time as like Final Fantasy One, Dragon Warrior. All of those came out approximately at the same time, very close to each other. And I don't recall which one that I played first. I believe I was playing Final Fantasy and Hide pretty concurrently, but I don't recall. I don't remember anything at that time being called virtual anything. So I really feel like this was probably late 80s. 89-ish. Not sure. Maybe 90. This fairy Duchess. She's all about me. She likes my hot ogre body, I think. Pursuing me relentlessly, I know that. Let's come get this giant wasp. Shadow says, I had to look it up. Thought you were talking about virtual hide but if there was just a hide at the time, I don't know what you're talking about. Shadow says 19. You can take it. Well, I don't want to, actually, even if I could, I don't want to because it would hurt my faction. So I just want to run on into Butcherblock Mountains. I don't know what faction she has, but whatever it is, I'm pretty sure I know she won't stop chasing me, but I'm just gonna go to the zone line, and then she'll not follow me through there. So all is well. Yeah, Hide was like, it was like if you were playing Final Fantasy or Dragon Warrior, but without the turn-based uh, element, right? So it was very unusual in that regard at that time. Because then, when you were playing an RPG, pretty much, I mean, the Dragon Warrior and the Final Fantasy um, way of doing it was to have turn-based fighting. And then with Hide, that was not the case. You're running around like this, and this is the comparison that I'm making. That you would just be running around and, fighting things actively, real time, role-playing game as opposed to turn-based. She's on the fairy faction. Well, that does make sense. I didn't realize that there was something just called fairy. I thought it was probably some kind of specific fairy, but I know so little about it. Let's try /faction and see what we've got here. Fairy, you say? Fairy. It's just straight up fairy, and they hate me terribly. We're 100 points to threaten. That's because anytime the fairies attack me, I run away from them instead of killing them. So I don't want to make it worse. We're only 100 points away from threatening. How does one increase one's faction with fairies when members? No idea. Okay, let's see. I think I'll head toward South Kaladim to try to pick up the baking goods, but I'll just kind of kill the stuff on the way there. That way, I'll gather up plenty of things, you know, maybe money, that's always good, maybe components for trade skilling, which is also good, right? And improving faction hither and yon. What kind of faction are we getting? King's Orb is going up, and Guardians of the Veil. Now, my understanding is that Guardians of the Veil is an enchanted land faction, which is, you know, this makes sense again to me because in EverQuest 2, the Guardians of the Veil was enchanted lands. Now, my understanding is that in this game, it's not called enchanted lands. There's something called the Misty Thicket, and you have Brunnia. But there's nothing apparently just straight up called enchanted lands. It's the same area, nonetheless. Shadow says, short answer, you don't. Long answer, there is one high-level quest that has a part or two that gives you positive faction hits with the fairies, but it's not really something you can efficiently farm. Oh no, so the fairies just hate you forever? That sounds terrible. I'm not sure what to think about that. High-level quest there's a part or two that gives you positive faction hits with the fairies. Well, maybe you can at least get up to threatening as opposed to, you know, kill on sight from a huge distance. I don't know. So are the fairies the bad guys then? They hate everyone, they kill us all? And just like kobolds or goblins or things like that, they're just kind of for the evil races. And we just gotta go. If so, then I guess nothing to do for that. Shadow says how you're perceived by them does depend on your race. They like wood elves. Okay, alright, I see. Let's see how it is. So ogres are the problem again. Oh, that just seems not right somehow. There I am. Nice, lovely ogre, just coming along, singing my bard songs, baking some cookies, and they want to kill me. Man, oh man. It does make some sense for fairies and ogres to kind of be mortal enemies or something, I suppose, mythologically. Shadow says, what server are you on? If you're on Rivervale, I can help you unlock another race. I am on Myriad. There's a little goblin encampment right there, but I don't see any goblins currently in it. Or maybe it's a bandit encampment. No, it's goblins, I think. I think that I can unlock wood elves and high elves if I turn in more wine and muffins. Possibly. That's what I've been told. Shadow says, oof, I can move to Rivervale and start as an ogre. I can help you unlock another race. Oh man. That's funny. I may at some point make other characters on other servers. Why do I keep going toward whatever this is? What is this? It's Dagnor's Cauldron. I have no idea what Dagnor's Cauldron is. I've never been there, and I don't remember ever even hearing the name beyond this game. So I know nothing about it except that it sounds, I don't know. Now let's see. This is where we're okay. Currently in Butcher Block. I don't know. All right, we got a regular bat hanging out over here. Let's click center on this and redo that map. The cool part about the snakes is that you can get eggs sometimes. And with eggs, you could potentially make omelets if you could find cheese. And where the cheese is in this land, I do not know. But if you can run across cheese, you can make omelets. Otherwise, there are other things that you can make with eggs. I can't actually recall what they are, but I do recall that I was using eggs to make things that were not omelets. I think on beta. Let's go ahead and pick up a couple of these guys. Shadow says, considering you can unlock races and freely change your race, you can freely change your secondary classes, and you can unlock primary classes to freely change them. And they're even talking about putting a gender toggle on the loadout screen. There's really not much reason to have more than one character. So the reason to have more than one character, in my opinion, is really kind of from a role-playing aspect, if you want to put it that way. So depending on who you are, you may want a character, for instance, that's very friendly with the fairies. And it may be, for instance, if I'm an ogre and I'm very friendly with the fairies, that's pretty cool. I like that. I think that's neat. But say, for instance, I've decided that I am a fairy tale creature and I want to be friends with that sort of thing. Fairies and maybe goblins or something like that. And so I work to get my faction up with those classes so that I can be friendly with them because I think it's cool. I may want another character that's like the fairy slayer. That's what he does. He goes around and he kills fairies because, you know, that's who he is, right? And so that's, to me, part of the fun for a lot of people is having these characters with their different personalities. And you can't really do that if you only have one character on, you know, because it just doesn't work because you carry that faction over and you can't switch between those different personas. So that's the issue. Sarah Nixon says agreed. Yeah, that's, I don't know if that gameplay aspect is simply being discarded by the powers that be, and it feels limiting. It feels like they're saying that role playing is not important in this game. It's funny because it's an MMORPG, right? So it's a role playing game, and so it feels like role playing is in the name. And although I'm not personally a role player, even still, like I have different characters on EverQuest 2 that have, in my opinion, different backgrounds and different personalities. It's funny, I don't role play them in that I don't pretend that I am that character and things like that. But nonetheless, I enjoy the process of making characters and of making these personas. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but I know people that enjoy actually playing as that character, and you know, they'll make a character and they will pretend that they are that character when they're on that character. You know, they may have a paladin, and the paladin is going to absolutely go and risk his life to try to save anybody who he perceives as in danger, and he'll, you know, run out and say, "Don't worry, I'm coming," you know, whatever, and plays that character as that persona, and then he may have another one that is very shady and, you know, backstabs and things like that. So I feel like they're eliminating an entire play style by only allowing you to have one character, and you would absolutely have to have different characters on different servers in order to fulfill that goal. Shadow says you're in Steamfont killing trash at level 9. Sure. One hunt move to Crushbone. You said you're friendly enough in Caladan and Felwithe, and Crushbone will have more challenging enemies than fast track speed. I'm not really worried about leveling. I'm actually just sort of wandering my way towards South Kaladim to get some baking goods at the moment. Hopefully, I think that there's a baker out front of there, and I figured I'd just kill stuff on the way. So it's really not about leveling at all for me. Shadow says Clan Crushbone Zone is the north side of Greater Faydark. Right, yeah, I know where Crushbone is. It's not fun for me to grind. I'm more of, I guess, more interested in the casual slaying of random beasties and doing the trade skill and things like that. If I'm on at the same time as some of my friends, we can go do some dungeons or something, whatever people want to do. But as far as just wandering around on my own, I don't know. It's just kind of more toward the point of what I'm doing to get some things that I'll need for stuff like crafting. So that's where I'm at the moment until I find some purpose that I want to go towards. Shadow says, I think you're in for a surprise here. It's not just the guards that are going to hate you in Kaladim. The merchants have their own faction. No, I've got all. Here, I'll show you. You'll see. You'll see. I've already built my faction in Kaladim. The only ones who hate me in Kaladim at this point are the scouts. And they like me fine. What I don't know is if the baker outside of here will like me. I don't know enough about him. But and I don't even know. Just kind of recall him being out here. I can't get in the door as I recall to these places. Let's see. That is Gammon Griststone. I don't think that's the guy that I need. I don't recall. I just feel like he's out here somewhere. The baker. Maybe not. I don't remember. Eaglin Thrennen glowers at me dubiously. Root him. I wonder if I can find him on map. If I go to find, no, that's not useful. It's only showing me Dagnor's Call between South Kaladim, Greater Faydark. Those are the connections. See, there's a dude here around here somewhere. Let's see. Maybe he's in one of these buildings that I can't get in. For some reason, I was thinking he was outside of Kaladim. Maybe not. Shadow says, Dwarf Door is not made for ogres. Oh, yes, I'm aware. I need my shrink spell. I think that's like level 15 Shaman. And I haven't gotten my Shaman class yet because I am only level 9. I need another level for that. So don't see it here. Maybe it's inside. Not sure. Not certain. I know that I couldn't find a baker in California. Bubblegumma says, with you 100%. I am also not a role player in terms of in-game interactions, but I do review my character's backstory and motivations exactly. To make them seem more like people and less like toons or 3D models. Exactly. Like, it feels like it's more fun to me. Like, they each have their own personalities. And otherwise, I'm not really into just, I don't know. Okay, let's check here so we can find a baker. Really don't think there's one out here. Or in here, rather. pretty sure he's outside. Don't see him here. I may end up having to, I don't know, I may end up having to go back to Ogre to find a baker. I really think there's one in this area. Above the chemist, we kind of touched on that during the stream the other night. Yeah, probably, because it is something that I find lacking, right? And it's interesting that they intentionally removed that from EverQuest Legends. But like I think we were talking about, they had discussed doing aliases. I think that's what it was called. And I feel like that would be a good move. I wonder if I need to go to... See, I really don't think there's one in Greater Faydark. But maybe there is in Felwithe? Maybe there's a baker there? I'm not sure. I didn't come across a baker when I was there the other day. But I do remember seeing a baker somewhere weird. Maybe it was Kaladim. Can head back, or not Kaladim, Felwithe. It's not Kaladim by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe it was Felwithe. We'll see. Head that direction by way of random beasties on the ground, and see if we can find anything. Now, what's interesting is right out here, there are these skunks. And skunks drop scent glands. My understanding is that scent glands can be used to create poisons, which apparently only rogues can make. So that's interesting. I don't know if there's anything else that the skunks drop that anyone would be interested in. And I also don't know who all can use poisons, or what the purpose would be. You know, how good are poisons? Are they good? And in EverQuest 2, there's only a few classes that can use poisons. So I don't know if that's the case here or not. It would be interesting if it's limited to only certain classes being able to make them, and only certain classes being able to use them. But I'm not sure on that. I did find that this is a decent place to come right outside of Kaladim whenever you're looking for the faction parts for getting your faction up with the Kaladim merchants. Eventually, I discovered the wine and the wine and muffins route toward faction, and that's obviously much faster, but you do have to sneak into Freeport to make that a reality. Ran right by that guy without getting him. What's that all about? Alright, now we should be able to hit north. Or south. It's weird. South, yes. And, be heading toward the Greater Faydark. Well, I picked up a bunch of guys. Guess I should stop and maybe kill some of them. I think that I'm not sure what the deal is. Like, what makes them chase you longer or peel off sooner? Is it how much they hate you? Is it like what level they are in relation to your own level? Or what's the deal with that? Because yeah, my initial My initial understanding was that things would chase you all the way across zones, but my experience has been that only some things will chase you across zones, and most things will drop off after a little while. I'm not sure why. Do they stop hating you? Or what? I'm not sure. Maybe they just don't hate you quite enough to run all the way across the zone. I'm not sure. So I was in Befallen when I was on beta for a while, and it's an interesting zone because you have to have keys, and then you have to have. It's interesting. You can only get the keys from certain places. It's a bit difficult, and then just because trying to figure out which Shadow Knights give you which keys, and then there's like an invisible wall that you have to run through to be able to get one of those keys. Uh-oh. Okay, that was not coming after me. It's like, oh man, thought I'd make him mad. Didn't make him mad, turns out. But another interesting thing is that you can be going along in these zones that are of a certain level, and then you'll run into something that is distinctly higher level than the level of the zone that you're in. It's kind of weird. Let's see how. I think the spider legs can be used to make some foods, right? Spider leg crunchies or something like that. It's similar thing to the batwing crunchies. You just need frosting and spider legs, and you can make some kind of a food. One thing I haven't figured out yet is how to tell what kind of food does different things, right? Like if you get different stats and stuff like that, or how long each one lasts. This says, congratulations, you've reached level 10 and can now add a third class to your loadout. Your experience moving forward will now only apply to the classes that are currently active. Please be aware that once you reach level 11, you will be asked to confirm your current primary class and deity as they will become locked to you. Additional primary classes and deities can then be unlocked via untapped potential achievements or by using an unlocked token. If you haven't already, open the loadout tab in your inventory window, and that's currently default key in. The system allows you to modify your existing loadout or add new ones. So let's go with in. And what we want is a Berserker Bard Shaman. So how do we do this? Okay, this is the current loadout. We want to add a loadout. And again, we want it to be a Berserker as its primary class, followed by Bard as the secondary. And then I want an additional class that is a Shaman. Where is the Shaman button? Who knows? There's Druid, Enchanter, Magician, Necromancer, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Shadow Knight. There's Shaman right there. Okay, so Shaman as the third. Above the commit says you can edit your loadout one instead of adding a new one. Ah, excellent. Yes, I would much prefer that. Let's cancel. Try this again. That makes sense. That way we don't have to have two loadouts when in fact I'm just trying to add an additional class. Cool. Shaman. Looks good. Like it. Alright, deities, Cosmic Thule, cities, Agak, UI, use this loadout, equip, use this loadout. That all seems right. Copy current UI to this loadout. We're already there. Copy current equip to this loadout. That all looks fine. Let's do it. Save. Please wait when the transformation is complete. Now my transformation is in fact complete. I got better at all kinds of skills, and that's another thing. What kind of new skills did I pick up? Hitting level 10 and adding Shaman as well. Skills. What do I have that I didn't have before? Hard to say. Everything is looking the same thus far. Channeling. I don't know what channeling is. Maybe I should, but I don't. How do I find out? I don't. I'll just have to figure that out. Maybe that's to cast spells. Maybe it's called channel. All right, conjuration is definitely a spellcasting thing. Dark speech, no idea. Sounds like some kind of speech, however. Divination, that's going to be casting. Evocation is another kind of casting. What else do we have here? I have Picklock, and it's still at 1 because I haven't run across any locks to pick. In fact, when I was on beta, I didn't run across any locks to pick either anywhere. So, nothing particularly interesting yet. Above the command says channeling lets you continue casting spells when you might otherwise be interrupted. Cool. That seems nice. Is it, where does it, is it in, like, spell? Probably I'll want to add some things to this window here, like, a heal, right? That makes sense. Previously I had a root, and there was a dot, as I recall, from the shaman stuff. Okay, that's a burst of flame. That's a direct damage, single target thing. Feet like cat infuses your target with feel and spirit, increasing their agility for 36 minutes. Drowsy slows their attack rate. Now that's a good thing to have. Cross drift, I think that was a direct damage. Yeah, that was a pretty good one, as I recall. Tainted breath, that's the damage over time. So let us move that to here. Got the spirit of the wolf, that's movement speed. Spirit of bear increases stamina. Spirit of snake increases charisma. Let's do for now damage over time. Actually, I already should have done this in a different order, probably. But we're going to put, okay, let's put cross drift here. And then let's put drowsy over here for now. I can definitely be moving that around, but that's what we got at the moment. Okay, good enough for now. Channeling has gone up. It's great. Above the comment says, and songs apparently too, since you're getting tons of channeling skill up. So it seems, yes. I think I never really noticed it because it wasn't terribly relevant for the ongoing background songs that just refresh all the time. Now, where am I going? I'm trying to get to the Greater Faydark, aren't I? I think so. Because I think I'm trying to get to Felwithe, see if I can find a bakery. Alright. What's this say does over here? It's a goblin rope. Definitely gotta knock those guys out, right? Rogue goblins, you know, they never did anything. We're just going around slaughtering them. Just because I want better reputation. I think my channeling has fully leveled up now. It didn't take long to get there. Let's do a little disarming just to get that skill up a little bit. Someday it'll probably come in handy. I don't know when. It's actually disarming and intimidation that I have on that button. So it goes off simultaneously. And I don't really, I didn't have any experience with succeeding at disarming anyone on test. I got its skill up pretty high, and I don't think that I ever managed to intimidate or disarm anything during the entirety of test. I got up to around level 28, I think, on that server. On the, I think on the pre-order test server. Cannot seem to hit this guy. There we go. There we go. Above the canvas says you can also add spells by right-clicking an empty spell gem on the spell bar to bring up the context menu. The spell book can become an organizational nightmare as you gain more spells. Absolutely, it is. I remember even when I was on the test server, it was like that. It was just like, oh, you know, you've got all these different spell bars, and there's this really cool thing where you come over to this and you right-click on it, and you can save spell sets and load spell sets, and it's super good. In fact, let's see if I load this spell set. I think it was from test that I made it on. Let's see what happens. At this point, I've added more things on here than... Let's clear it out. Okay, I guess I can't clear that off right now. Okay, so apparently that's what I had on, except minus this. Let's try that again. Okay, well, that's interesting. This is hymn of... Okay, so that's hymn of restoration. This is like healing. That makes sense. Okay, so what do I have going on here? Who knows? Silo's Accelerando. That's the one that makes you go faster. Chant of Battle increases strength, dexterity, and armor class. Hymn of Restoration makes wounds heal faster. Jonathan's Whistling War Song speeds attacks and loses armor class and strength. I don't have all four of those going right now because I don't have enough Symphonic Aura. And then this one was also obviously going Elemental Rhythms, Protection from Fire, Ice, and Magic. So those were the ones that I had chosen at that time. I think that I may take off the Silos Accelerando for now and replace it with, I don't know, maybe the Chords of Dissonance, just to get a little bit more of that damage over time going constantly, if I can find where it is. There it is. And then when I get a little more AA points, I can get further along with that. Right now I have 3 unallocated, so I can do the next rank here. Let's train it. And we'll have 4 spells, or four songs rather, that are being run all the time. So what we're missing currently is this one here, which is elemental ribbons giving protection from fire, ice, and magic. So might want to change that later, but for now, it's good enough. But yes, I completely agree. It is an organizational nightmare. I think that it's less of one probably on EverQuest Legends than on EverQuest 1, because I suspect that some of these things may be build saving and loading spell bars. I don't know if that was available on EverQuest 1 or not. There are definitely some pretty decent quality of life stuff going on here one way or another, I can say that. You would think that the basilisk would drop some venom that you could use to make some spells, or to make some poisons as well. I don't know if that's true or not, but it feels like you should be able to, right? A couple of them. I was just noticing the time. I'll have to go here pretty soon because I have got to eat something, and then after that, I told a friend I would help him with something, and then also we'll afterward have a tournament, a magic tournament to go to. It's a league tournament today, so that'll probably last well into the night. So I'd really like to find this baker, but maybe a mission for tomorrow, possibly. I really thought that the baker, I just remember seeing that someone was a baker and thinking, oh, okay, there's the baker. But I didn't write it down. And that was foolish of me. Because now I don't even know which city it was in. I just know it was somewhere, it's somewhere in Faydark. Pretty sure it wasn't in Lesser Faydark. So I guess that's one thing, right? That's about all I can say. I don't think it was in Crashbone, or as you guys call it here, it's clan Crashbone, right? In EverQuest 2, it's called Crashbone. Same place, different name, Got some wolf meat, that's great. Because with that and a bit of bread, you can have sandwiches. Even just with the wolf meat, if you can find a baker and get yourself some. Oh wait, I don't want to kill that. No, not the fairy maiden. If you can find the baker, then you can get the sauces and spices. And then you can make wolf steak, among other things. Now I've turned off my attack so that I don't go after this fairy maiden. In spite of the fact that the fairy maiden is going to continue to attack me, we're just going to ignore her. She's like that annoying kid in school who's always, tapping your shoulder and flicking your ear and things like that. You just kind of ignore it for the most part. That's the fairy maiden right now. She's just not worth the fight, Not worth the the damage that it would do to your reputation. The plan of the moment is we go step in to the Felwithe, and then I'll look and see if I see an obvious place where a bakery is on the map. What's the goal in mind? Where's Drakewing over here? I was told initially that ogres have dark vision, and therefore they don't need things like torches and such. What I found in my experience is that I don't see very well in the dark, and this dark vision of which they speak that ogres have is not great dark vision, and I can't imagine that I'm seeing very much better with my ogre than other people are. And I'm not sure how that, I mean, is it complete darkness for everyone else? That's what I want to know. Guess I'll head toward the Felwithe entrance in a moment. Now the pixies, interestingly, don't actually seem to have any faction, as far as I can tell. Alright, let's see about finishing off some of these things. Gotta be careful, because I don't want to kill the fairies. But I do want to kill the rest of that stuff. Alright, now. Into Felwithe I go, theoretically. Or I get stuck in the door as another option. It's a long run. Okay, so here we are. Now, when you come into Felwithe, one thing you'll note is that even if you are hated by everyone, Lenadin is equal opportunity. He doesn't hate anybody. He is the most neutral of people. And it's pretty cool overall. You would think he would have some kind of faction, but no, he loves everyone equally. So if you're in this area and you're an ogre, you're a troll, or something like that, you can pop into Felwithe and talk to Lenadin over there. He'll trade with you. You can do whatever kind of trades you need to do with him. And one thing you'll find is that as a result of that, everyone trades with him. And he's always got a lot of cool stuff on him. So, always a good idea to sort of check in with him and see what kind of neat things he might have. We've got a bunch of optic nerves, for instance. I have no idea what optic nerves are made or used for. If we look at it, it doesn't tell us much. It's a quest item, apparently. But everything almost says it's a quest item, so you don't know. Crossbone belts are here. Okay, you know what else is cool? Dairy spoons are here. How weird is that? Somebody came and sold him a bunch of dairy spoons. You never know what you're going to find on this fella here. Essence of Wrath? Who knows what that is? But he's got it. Somebody has popped in here and sold it to you. Doesn't tell me anything useful. It's just tiny. and it's, you know, it's worth a platinum, 7 gold, 1 silver, and 4 copper. But as for anything else, I have no idea. It looks like a little treasure chest, but I see no evidence that it holds anything. Its weight is 0.1. That's all we know about the essence of wrath. It's crazy the way things are. They really don't tell you much. We've got fire emerald rings, all kinds of good stuff, always on him. I think grave mold might be something that you can forage, but I'm not certain of that. Maybe not. It says it's a quest item. I have no idea. You'd think that you would, I don't know. Got nothing. Anyway, cool thing. I'm just kind of scanning through, see if there's anything that I'm particularly interested in checking out further. What is this? Small unrefined ore. Cool. I'm not gonna grab it, but I mean it might be good. I don't know. Bunch of tattered cloth sandals. They probably fish those right out of the harbor over here. Tons of cloth sandals end up strangely in this water. Not the gloves and shoulder pads though, just the sandals. Weird. Unfinished blade molds. It's got a couple of those. Weird stuff. You never know which feels landed. Okay, now let's check out the map. Quick find and see if we can. Baking supplies. So it was info with how lovely. All right, so let's head over then to our baker friend. I don't know his name yet, but I guess we'll find out. Now, don't go right if you're an ogre. So you go right. That's where that one scout guy is. To go left, you're in the clear. If you have faction otherwise with these individuals right there, the non-scouty sorts. Okay. So, this is interesting. So he's in pottery supplies, tool crafting general, and then we've got cloth armor over here, and just hanging out in the corner is Serenika Greenfinger, the baker girl. And I'm writing that down this time. We're not gonna. Okay, Serenika Greenfinger, the finger, and that's in Felwithe, and she's a baker. Next time, I'm looking for a baker. I'll know where to go if I'm in this area. So there we are. All right. So she'll have all of the things that one needs and can never find. A lot of things, like the cup of flour. Cup of flour is not easy to come across. The frosting is also tricky. So, for fun, let's grab a stack of 100s of the frostings. Those go on all kinds of things. They're very useful. Above the commit says, be sure to check show only items I can use at the bottom of the vendor list when vendor mining. Sometimes that hides useful stuff. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see that. That's awesome. Thanks very much. That is so cool. Okay. Awesome. Okay. And there's a mixing bowl. I had been looking for a mixing bowl at one point. The mixing bowl is something that you only need to get one time, and after that you can use it for all kinds of different recipes. I think that it's 21st. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that for that 1 silver and 2 copper. You can also make one at the potting wheel, a mixing bowl. But you need clay and things that I don't currently have. You can buy clay. But that's super cool. Okay, got that. Very cool button to find, or for you to tell me exists anyway. All right, cool. So then I have a little bit of gold left over. I need some sauces and some spices. Neither of these items are especially cheap. Let's buy 20 of the sauces. And that's 28. It's not 20. There's 20. I also need the spices. So let's grab one of those as well. Cool. I don't know, can I make the bread myself yet? You need clumps of dough. to make bread. How do you make clumps of dough? I think you need, obviously you need flour. I think you need the mixing bowl to do that, which I now have. Maybe I can make my own bread. Let's find out. All right. So currently we have baker on fires. Now we're going to change it. I'm going to go try to find the oven. And it's way over there. So let's go. Let's go. It's over by the water. It's a great tip above the chemist. Very good. Okay, so this way, I did not see the yellow wisp, so and I've also managed to miss the turn. Cool. There it is. All right. I've not gone into the water over here. I don't know if there's anything in the water or not, other than obviously you can go fishing in the water. Okay. I accidentally right-clicked this chick here. Instead, I want to click the baking thing here. Let's try just clicking dough and see if that shows up. We have to wait for the search recipes button. It's not looking good. Okay, let's just search recipes. Maybe I was thinking of the wrong thing, or maybe it's not on the list. It may be that Rugged Joy said I needed a clump of dough, and maybe I don't have the skill to make it. I'm not sure. Okay, so I mentioned the omelet before, and I mentioned the fact that I haven't seen any way to purchase cheese or any way to make cheese thus far. I didn't notice it on that vendor. I'm not sure if it was there or not. So looking at things that we can make to get the skills up a little bit, first thing I see is the fish head soup. We can get a few skill points from that. So let's give it a go. Start combining and throwing these things into the auto inventory. Now you'll see that every time you try to make fish head soup, you get the pot back. So this pot is reusable currently indefinitely as far as I can tell. So you don't always make the fish head soup, but you do always get your pot back regardless. Cool stuff. Pumpkin pie is super cool. I want to be able to make it. Can't do it yet. This is rabbit stew. You gotta have rabbit meat for rabbit stew. Vegetables are a thing you can forage once you get the foraging skill. But thus far, no luck on that. Now we've got different kinds of fish. I don't have anything fancy as far as fish goes, so unfortunately, not going to get far there. I don't know if I have anything else I can currently make or not, but I did pick up some stuff while I was out, and that was the whole purpose of the mass killings of random creatures out there along the way, hoping to potentially get things we could make into goodies here. That's where I saw a clump of dough. So clump of dough is used to make cookies. How do we make clump of dough? Don't know yet. Maybe it's something I have to buy. I'm not sure. What is this? Cup of flour. Wait a minute. Personal Depot wasn't on. That's a shame. So maybe I need to kind of go back through this a little bit and see if I actually can make some of this. Definitely not the omelet because I don't have any cheese. Probably I can't. I probably don't have anything in storage that will help me make this stuff. But just in case, I may as well run back through it. Because that would be cool, right? You would think I would have killed some sharks by now, but no. Hasn't been top of the list. Okay, so now we do have the ability to make a bunch of candied spider legs. We can get all the way up to 88 in skill from doing that, so let's just click the make all button and then click combine. What that'll do is you're going to slowly go through it and make them, and if you make something from it, it automatically goes into your inventory. So that's a cool thing about it. If you find that you have made all of them that you want, then you can just back out of this and it'll cancel the automatic making. So it does do it a little bit at a time. It doesn't like automatically do the whole group of them. So if, for instance, I make it to 88 skill, I'll back out and stop continuing to use up my supplies because I might have more things by then that I can make, and I may want to use some of this for some other purpose. Like I may need the spices, for instance, and be able to do that. Obviously, I should have bought more spices. I didn't realize that I would be needing them, but clearly I do. Almost out of those. Okay, we got the baking up to 77. Let's pick search recipes again in case we opened something else up. We did. All right. Good news. But I'll go back to where I was at and move forward from there. That was candied spider. Yeah, candied spider. That's where I was. All right, moving on down. Don't have any shark, don't have any fruits or grapes or any of that kind of business yet. So brown gravy was the last one on the list previously. Okay, animal shaped cookie. I've got lots of different kinds of cookie cutters. I don't have a clump of dough. Don't have a clump of coal either, but I don't have a clump of coal. So this is where those cookie cutters that I made come into play. I don't have a gremlin shaped cookie cutter, but I have the rest of the cookie cutters. If only I could make a clump of dough, or purchase one, or something. All right, I don't have any of this is thick lotus paste, and it can be made from different things. Black lotus stem. I can't see what that says. Soft lotus petals, sticky lotus sap, or sweet lotus sap. I have none of the above of those. So it's no good. Nothing I can do about any of that, unfortunately. Maybe, though, we can do the clump of dough now. Now that our skills have increased. It's not looking good. Would have shown up by now if we could. How interesting. I wonder if I need to buy it from somebody. I'm really not sure. Let me go back. We're just going to type in cookie. And then see exactly what it shows here. We click Alt on it, and nothing. It doesn't show us anything. It just says clump of dough. What a shame. Yeah, no good. I think we've hit the limit on what we can do there. Later, I can go and buy some more spices, and then I can make some more of those candied spiders, which will come into play for getting the baking skills up. But anyway, moving along nicely, I feel. I'll also want to turn these rusty things into tarnished things, then we can turn that into ore. But for now, I'm going to have to call it because it is 3:07, and I'll have to get out and go start doing other things, it seems. Above the chemist says that checkbox can be useful when buying spells to filter out ones you already have memorized. Otherwise, I keep it unchecked so I can see full vendor inventory. That seems like a very, very good idea. I'm going to try to remember to keep that in mind whenever I go to these guys because who knows what kinds of things I have failed to see because I had that checkbox on and didn't even realize it. It's a lot of little boxes here and there. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take off. I will be back on tomorrow, if not today. If you're not following me yet, be sure to follow me and turn on notifications so that you can see the next time that I go live. Hopefully, I will see all of you then. For now, everybody have fun. Get some EQ.